Tell me about the talking snake.
Okay. There's a talking snake. Yeah. So in Genesis 3.
It's really hot down here.
It is.
Anyway, tell me about the talking snake.
Genesis.
It's hot where the talking snake is too.
This is true.
Yes.
This is true. All right. All right. And so in Genesis 3, there's a serpent that comes into the garden. So like we're 3 chapters into the Bible.
Yep. And there's already talking animals.
Right. And so in chapter 3, verse 1, it says, "Now the serpent was the most cunning of all the wild animals that the Lord God had made. He said to the woman, 'Did God really say you can't eat from any tree in the garden?' And then the woman said to the serpent, 'We may eat the fruit from the trees in the garden. But about the fruit of the tree in the middle of the garden, God said, you must not eat it or touch it, or you will die.' 'No, you will certainly not die,' the serpent said to the woman." And the conversation continues on. But yeah, so you've got Eve talking to a snake.
Right.
And it doesn't seem to faze her at all. Right? Like the snake comes up, starts talking, and she's like, "Talking snake, good deal. I'll have a conversation with him." And
all right.
And so, yeah, so most people would say this is let me rephrase that. There's not most people, but there's a lot of people who might think in reading this is just a fable. Like it's not real.
Okay.
It's just it's a story maybe illustrating a point or a principle or something, or like introducing the idea of sin or those kind of things. But it's actually not a real snake talking to Eve. And so the story is more like just made up. And
so they're on drugs.
Well, I mean, that's whatever. But for me, I mean, I take it as literal. So
okay.
I think it's a real story. It's a real snake talking to a real person.
All right. So there's a talking snake.
Right.
So how are there talking animals
at this point?
Yes.
Yeah. So one of the things is at this point, sin's not entered into creation,
except that this is supposedly Satan.
Yes. Yes.
So isn't he full of sin? So doesn't that mean sin entered creation?
Well, okay. There's not sin in the world. Okay. And I get what you're saying. Like, okay, yes. If Satan is the personification of sin, or if Satan himself is evil, yes, that's true. But creation itself, so when I say creation itself, I mean humanity and the actual physical world around them, okay, have not, quote unquote, fallen into sin, okay? And so everything at this point is perfect in the garden. And so in comes walking the snake. And so the question is, were there animals that were actually talking
right
prior to that? And
any of the animals.
Right, any of the animals.
Because Eve wasn't fazed.
Yeah, because Eve wasn't fazed at all by the fact that the snake was talking to her.
Oh, so pre-sin, all the animals just talk to each other.
I mean, that's a theory. It's because, like, so for example, you know, in just if I go up one more chapter or go back one chapter in Genesis 2, it says all the animals were coming up to Adam. He was naming all the animals.
Right.
And then it says that God.
You're Jeff.
Right.
Thank you. Yeah. Was he naming the so does that mean he was giving them like specific names, or was he actually naming
like the
kind of animal?
Yeah. In other words, like, are you like lion? Right.
Right.
Like you're a lion, or was he saying, you're Craig?
Right.
You know, like, I mean, that's a good question.
Okay.
And so, like, but what I'm saying is, like, God actually says, well, let me just read it. It'd be easier if I just read the passage.
Okay.
Because God actually comes to the garden, notices that Adam's, talking to the animals and hanging out with the animals. All right. So in Genesis 2, verse 20, it says, the man gave names to all of the livestock, to the birds of the sky, and to every wild animal. But for the man, no helper was found corresponding to him. And so the Lord actually looked at man and said, it's not good for man to be alone. Like, in other words, he's got all the animals around him.
Right.
but he's still alone. Like there's no one that's as like an equal to him. Okay.
He was watching all the animals do it.
Well,
and was like, "Where's mine?" And just had to sit there while every animal around him was having a good time, and he was the only one that was alone.
Right. I mean,
that's the worst. And they all could talk and make fun of him for not having anybody.
So Craig and Jeff are over there making fun of Adam. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
But in light of that, it's an interesting thing. I've never thought about it that way before ever. But the animals, they would have been having sex, right? And it's holy, it's good, no big deal. Like not a weird thing. And so, but there's the thing with Adam is that he's been given authority over them, right?
Right.
Over the animals. Like,
so he could have told him to stop and go away.
Well, I guess, yeah.
Okay.
Y'all go do that over there. Right. But he's been given dominion over them. So they're not an equal with Adam. Right.
Okay.
And so
why couldn't he tell the talking snake to go away? Or could he?
Oh, yeah, he could have.
Oh.
Right.
But they didn't. And that's why everything
right. But Eve entertained the conversation.
All right.
Like at any point in time, Eve could have been like, nah, go away. Not interested.
Okay.
Yeah. So talking snake. Do I think it's a fable? No.